All right. Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Kol Haloim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Wachak Mudash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Aquaf that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shawab Amawan back at you with another lesson. And going into the title, it's around the corner. Check this out. Digital update. All right. And basically, we are that close. All right. I have an article that basically is showing you how close we are to this thing to drop. All right. And we know that all roads lead to the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast, the RFID hip. All right. And Salaka, if it's too much wind, it's 90 degrees today, and I gotta keep my windows down, or I'll straight sweat with bullets over here and won't be able to breathe. But I'll try to be as loud as I can. So yeah, going into this article that I got. All right, they're speaking about how in 2025 we lost benefits to the SNAP benefits, right? And it lasted like 2 months basically. And I think it was like in January, in the beginning of January, or the mid-January, that they ended up reinstating everybody's SNAP benefits, right? Which that was all a trial run, a test to see how the people gonna act, right? And ultimately, that was Yahweh Bashem Yahushai giving you the warning if you can receive it through the Spirit. All right, he was giving you the warning of what was going to happen. Okay, because the Lord is going to take away the staff, right, of Judah and Israel. Northern kingdom and southern kingdom. He's going, the food source, as the scriptures say. Let's grab that real quick. And then I'll go into the article, right? This is Isaiah 3:1. And it reads, "For behold, the Lord Yahushai, the Lord Yahweh of hosts, does take away from Jerusalem and Judah the stay and the staff and the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water." All right, and when you read it in the NLT, which is not coming up on my thing for some reason. All right, let me see if I back out and go back into it. It basically tells you that the Lord gonna take away every bit of bread and every bit of water, all right, from Jerusalem, all right, both northern kingdom and southern kingdom. So what you saw in 2025, all right, for those 2 months, all the way into January, when they took away those SNAP benefits, it was to show you that the Lord was going to take away these benefits at one point. You see? Like how it tells you in Isaiah, the 32nd chapter, that the vintage shall fail, all right, for a lot of these women. All right, so a lot of these benefits that these women are on, all right, and even these men, all right, because the vintage is going to fail for a lot of you men also that depend on the government, that depend on welfare. See, all of that is going to be taken away from you, man, because these devils have a certain agenda, right? And it's going to be taken away from you so you could beg to bow down to the system, so you can show that you need the system to help you out. Okay? See, we don't need no help from no system. We have Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, which is our system that we depend on. Right? So the article I got is basically that now they took away millions of people's SNAP benefits away again. Not through a partial shutdown, not through a government shutdown, but they just took it away from millions of people because now you have to verify through digital technology that you are the person that's receiving the benefits. And why they doing this? Because people do scams, people do fraud, people do loopholes, you know. They find ways to share their shit. Right? And that's what this whole new system of technology is about. You know, total technocracy, total you know, you're not able to beat the government no more. You're not able to, you know, find loopholes to, you know, get away with certain things, man. The Lord gonna have eyes on everything you do. All right. And this is gonna cause a lot of people to uprise, all right, because they're gonna have to verify through biometrics, which all roads lead to what? It leads to the MOTB. And this shows that how close we are to this thing, man. Okay. So let me grab real quick the article. This is a Newsbreak, right? And it says Snap shoppers alert. It says new verification rules require selfies and facial recognition. Privacy advocates are concerned. So now, in order for you to receive or being reinstated with your SNAP benefits, right, you have to show selfies and facial recognition. And they've been prepping you with that for a while now. They've been prepping you through gradualism with these things, man. When you go into social media, Facebook, Instagram, they're already doing that on those platforms. You know, they be trying to kick me out of Facebook and Instagram all the time for something I post. And then they do. And then what happens is, in order for me to get my Instagram back, I have to show a whole selfie from the front, from the side of my face, which that's really them just doing facial recognition and biometrics on me, you know, to show that I'm that person, right? Damn, hella police over here. Oh, that's it. They took him. My man was riding in one of the three-wheeling, those futuristic cars. He ain't nobody in the front seat no more. So they took his ass in, right? So it says millions of Americans who rely on SNAP benefits are seeing major technology changes roll out, all right, across America, across government systems. So that shows you that we are in the process of a great change. It shows us that while everybody's caught up with bread and circuses, while everybody's caught up with distractions, right, with the things you don't need to worry about, the things of this world, that changes are happening right in front of us, man, under your noses. And again, they've been gradually prepping you with these things through social media, you know, telling you over and over, all right, that these things would come to pass, okay? Your own government, pretty much their own tongue falls upon you and tells you all the time that this is what they want, Agenda 2030, all right? Agenda 2030, by 2030, they want everybody micro C-hip, right? They want everybody put into the system or else you be excluded, okay? You're either going to be excluded or you're not going to be part of the system at all. You see? So there's going to be requirements of verification to show that you're part of this system. Okay? And the main verification is going to be that RFID. Okay? So it says, and some recipients are uncomfortable with what comes next. Several states and third-party identity verification vendors are increasingly using selfie verification, facial recognition tools, and biometric identity checks during benefit applications, account recovery, fraud prevention reviews, and mobile app logins. All right? And like I said, this has been happening across America recently more and more. And they're starting with your social medias, man. Right? It says officials say the goal is to reduce identity theft and prevent stolen benefits especially after a sharp rise in Snap fraud and card skimming scams in recent years, which that's been happening. Okay? But again, remember, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. And they're going to always make it look like it's very convenient, like it's for safety. You know, peace doesn't have nothing to do with this, but safety does. So they're promising you, okay, by doing this, you'll be safe from being hacked, from fraud, all right? And we know that whenever safety is spoken of, all right, there's a heavy agenda behind it, okay? So, continuing on, it says, but privacy advocates warn these systems may create new risk involving sensitive biometric data, digital surveillance, right, and possible errors affecting vulnerable populations like the seniors, okay? It says for older Americans who already struggle with technology and smartphone access, the new SNAP verification rules are creating growing anxiety about privacy and continued benefit of access. And see, that's a way to make the old people, the senior citizens, bow down to the system like this without a problem, okay? Because they don't know any better, they're going to comply with it that much easier. Because if you don't, then you get cut off, right? That's why the scriptures say he calls it all, both small and great, right? Small and great goes into the newest born, great going into the oldest that's on planet Earth. You see, he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, right? To receive a mark on their right hand or in their forehead. So it says, here's what every shopper should be aware of. It says SNAP verification systems are becoming more digital. Why? Because we live in the fourth industrial revolution of things, right? The internet of things. Everything is a digitalized society around us. Through gradualism, they've been doing that by bringing out more technology, computers, and increasing in computer intelligence, giving you smartphone after smartphone, you know, finding where now the new thing is swatches, right? I believe that was some new shit I just read. I didn't get to see what they look like, but I'm assuming it's some digitalized shit. You could probably do all types of crazy shit with it. But see, they'll always come out with more and more to draw you into that system, right? So now it says, many agencies are modernizing SNAP systems by introducing online identity verification tools that require users to upload photos, scan identification cards, or complete selfie-based identity checks. These systems are often managed through third-party vendors that specialize in fraud detection and digital identity verification. Officials argue that stronger verification measures help prevent criminals from stealing benefits, using fake accounts, or stolen personal information. All right, and there's always going to be a way for these devils to find out how to do that shit anyway, man. All right, because the way they find out, because it happens with someone that is in the system, somebody that deals with the system already. The people that are involved through these systems know how to hack their own systems. It's created by them, so they know the loopholes. And what happens is it gets leaked out to one person, and then the next person, and then people find ways and trends, right? So it says, in recent years, organized SNAP fraud schemes involved cloned EBT cards and stolen account credentials have increased sharply nationwide. As a result, more states are experimenting with verification systems that resemble the facial recognition tools already used by banks, online payment apps, and tax agencies. You see? And hey, what is that all tied to? Buying and selling. You see? used by the banks, online payment apps. So they're using the same exact systems that the banks use, that payment apps use, all right, for as simple as benefits of your government. You see? So it says, privacy advocates worry about facial recognition technology. It says, while officials describe the changes as anti-fraud tools, privacy advocates are raising concerns about how biometric information may be collected, stored, and shared. Facial recognition systems often require users to submit selfies or short video scans that are analyzed against identification documents. Critics warn that once biometric information is collected, consumers have limited control over how long the data is retained or which third-party companies may access it, okay? And that limited control, there you go, total technocracy, right? Having, you know, being able to control everything through their system. It says privacy groups. It's a lot. I'm sweating already. My air conditioner don't work. That's why I have to keep my windows down. Right? It says privacy groups are also that facial recognition technology can argue that facial recognition technology can create disproportionate problems for older adults, people with disabilities, and individuals whose appearance changes because of medical conditions. Damn, that sucks. You see? It can even suck for someone that once was in the world getting shape-ups, having heathen haircuts, and all of a sudden you come into this truth and now you're growing out a beard. Now you got a whole beard. Now you look different from your picture 2 years ago. See? They make it harder and harder for you, man. Right? What the hell's that got to be before? It says seniors may face the biggest challenges with new verification rules. Older Americans could experience unique difficulties adapting to selfie verification and facial recognition requirements, all right, tied to Snap accounts or mobile access systems. It says many seniors do not own smartphones capable of handling advanced verification apps, while others struggle with poor internet access, outdated devices, and limited digital literacy. Right? Yeah, because this whole digital world is basically for them Gen Zs, man. All these new, you know, these young ass crowds, man, that they grew up on nothing but fucking tablets, man. You see, our people that are older generation grew up in libraries, books, right? These Gen Zs, these newer generations are all based on, you know, technology. That's how they got their education, through technology, through a laptop, you know, through what do you call them shits? iPads and shit like that. Right? So, continuing on, it says a retiree attempting to recover a locked Snap account, for example, may suddenly be asked to upload a government issued ID and complete. All right. And what's that government issued ID? It's going to be that it's going to go down to that digital ID. Okay. That they've been pushing. All right. Which eventually, all right, we know that these digital IDs, again, is going to lead to one thing, that MOTB. Right. It says, and complete a facial scan using unfamiliar technology. Even small technical errors such as poor lighting, shaky hands, or shaky hands, that's wild, or camera problems can cause verification failures that delay access to benefits. Data breaches are fueling additional privacy concerns. Another major concern involves the security of biometric information once it's uploaded into digital verification systems. Privacy experts frequently point out that passwords can be changed after a data breach, but facial recognition data and biometric identifiers cannot easily be replaced once compromised, right? Let me see how much I got left. There's a lot here, right? It says several recent high-profile data leaks, right, involving self-verification systems. It says and identity documents have intensified. One second, hold on. Salakia. It says has identified, where was I? Identity documents have intensified fears surrounding digital age verification and identity check technologies. In one widely discussed case, thousands of uploaded selfies and ID images connected to online verification systems were reportedly exposed after security failures involving third-party vendors. It says states say fraud prevention is becoming a necessity. It says despite privacy concerns, many state officials argue that stronger SNAP verification systems are necessary because benefit theft has become increasingly sophisticated. Criminals have used skimming devices, stolen EBT card data, fake accounts, and phishing schemes. Right, phishing schemes. All right, it says to drain benefits from recipients across the country. Some agencies believe facial recognition and selfie verification systems provide a faster way to confirm identities and reduce fraudulent account access attempts. Officials also note that taxpayers expect stricter protection against abuse in public assistance programs, especially as fraud investigations expand. Still, privacy advocates continue pushing for safeguards that limit biometric data retention, improve transparency, and offer alternate verification options for seniors uncomfortable with facial recognition systems. Okay? I think I got a little bit. Yeah, this is the last part. It says SNAP verification changes could reshape benefit access. The growing use of self-verification and facial recognition technology and benefit systems reflects a broader shift toward digital identity monitoring across government and private services, you see? And it all leads to what? It leads back to that MOTB system, the B system, all right? See, this is them prepping you with gradualism for the image of the beast, you see? And for the system of the beast, right? It says, supporters say stronger verification tools may help prevent SNAP fraud and protect taxpayer-funded programs from abuse. However, and see, it all sounds like convenience. See, they're set around the words of it's about the theft, it's about the fraud that's going on, the loopholes, people snatching up your data. Okay, but it's all really for one thing, man. It's for you to be put into their system. All right, because we're coming into the NWO, the New World Order. See, the old world order, it doesn't fit right because it's the old ways, it's the old schemes. Those schemes are taken out the way, and now new schemes are being brought in. Okay, it's a new world, a digitalized world that they want to, enter into. Okay, so it says. However, critics warn that the collection of biometric information creates serious privacy, cybersecurity, and accessibility concerns, especially for seniors and vulnerable households. As facial recognition technology expands into more areas of daily life, the debate over convenience versus, there goes that word, convenience versus privacy is likely to become even more intense in the years ahead, you see? So it's about convenience for them, all right? And it's also about not privacy so much, but going into your private life, you see? Because they'll try to make it look like it's privacy from the world. Well, people won't know you know, about you, but it's not about them having the world know about you. It's about the government knowing everything about you, right? So all of this, man, is going to lead to that one thing, all right, that we've been speaking about forever. Revelations 13-16. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. You see, that they might not what? Buy or sell, lest he had the mark, okay, or the number of his name. Unless you verify yourself through the badge of servitude, which is the MOTB, you cannot be part of the system. You're going to have difficulties in the system, right? And us being unplugged from the world, all right, they're going to make it really harder for those that are not going to bow down to the system. You see, that's what it's really for, to make it harder for us, because they know the ones that don't bow down to the system will be the ones of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, of our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Forget these heathens. These heathens could do all types of shit. They could get as many C-hips as they want. They could, you know, their job is to be part of the system, man. But our people were commanded not to be part of the system. The Lord said, love not the world or the things in the world, right? For the love of the world is not of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. It's enmity to the Heavenly Father, man. So we're not supposed to be attached to anything of this world. Damn sure not the system, or depending on the shadow of Egypt, which will be your shame and your confusion, as it tells you in Isaiah the 30th chapter. You see, you're supposed to have a cloak for your sins through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. These people are trying to cloak themselves with the system. You see, these devils is going to make you bow down to the system and make you go to them for the want of all things, and nakedness and in hunger and in thirst. You see, so he can make you bow down to his technology, his digital Messiah, his digital God, right? But this is why us as watchmen, we're constantly telling you the news of what's happening. We're telling you we're on top of every little thing that happens, man. Every little news article that comes out, right? Every little thing that your government or your crew lord DJ Trump tells you on the news, okay? And this shows that, again, that we are right there. We're it's about to happen, man. It's going to come upon everybody. Let's end it with this. All right, it's going to come upon everybody as a snare, all right? Because as the scriptures tell you in Habakkuk, right? I actually got two scriptures now. Habakkuk 2:5, right? It says, yeah, also because he transgresses by wine, you know, through philosophy, Esau, Edom, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And how's he going to do that? He going to do that through the way of his system, right? Through the way of his technology, through the means of those miracles, man, that make people say, oh, wow, that's dope, that's awesome. But he's just trying to suck you in, man, right? With all these different types of baits, because he's a cunning hunter, and he'll wait there until he gets you sucked into the system, right? Let's grab this. This is Luke, all right, 21:34, and it reads, and take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts are overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that they come upon you unawares. For as a snare it shall come on all them, meaning what? Globally, the whole world, that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore and pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. You see? So we have to constantly stay on top of these things as watchmen, watching, all right? So that if the good man will watch and what watch, the thief will come, we will not suffer our houses to be broken up. We will not get caught up, all right, in the ways of this world, because we already know what's coming. So we're staying ready, so we don't have to get ready, man. All right. But the point is, for as a snare, it shall come upon all them that dwell on the face of the earth. You see, on all of them. This is the snare that's about to come upon the whole entire world globally. This is why you see a global economy crash. You see a global collapse happening around us. This is why you have DJ Trump won't go. He went into war purposely, to collapse the society, to collapse his system, to bring in his new system. Remember, you have these Illuminatis that rule the world, Esau, Edom being the top one, but you have also secret societies from these other nations also that sit at the round table and conspire of the agenda that's going to come upon the whole world. All right. So they're actually behind closed doors down with everything that's going on. You see? So, you know, I pretty much just wanted to touch up on that, you know, keeping you updated what's going on. All this is going to lead to the MOTB at the end of the day, man. All right. So, hey, Lord willing that you were edified. So with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Haloim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith, doing as good soldiers of Yahweh Shai. Just continue to learn the silence, watching the true men of the Lord. And hey, man, stay prayed up, man. Stay prayed up and pray to this place. All right, that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai comes with a speedy riddance, that he makes this all happen this year. All right, all these things happen this year and get brought. All right, you know, while we're still here, it all comes back to us in this year, man. Because you even have what's his name? I did a video on that yesterday with Putin, man. Putin talking about he wants to let Satan 2 fly by the end of this year. That even shows you even more that we're closer to this MOTB being made mandatory, because we know things have to happen in chronological order, man. In order for the missiles to fly, for America to be destroyed, all right, the MOTB has to be made mandatory, all right? And we have the 250-year mark coming up for America, all right, in July. So it might very well happen around that time, you see? Then you have December, they want to talk about the draft. And if this shit drops before, right, if this thing is made mandatory in July, you know, August, well, then that December draft will come sooner than we think, man. And by the time we know, we're in just complete World War III, you know, fulfilling prophecy, right? And then America eventually will be destroyed coming into 2027, man. We might be out of here by 2027, man, Lord willing. So we got to pray that these things happen, man. All right, that prophecy continues to pass, which it is at the end of the day. The Lord is speaking. The Lord is doing his works, man. All right, so call Haloim La Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai for that. So I'm gonna leave it there through the spirit. Again, Lord willing, you were edified. So with that being said, Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Barakatah unto you and your households.